Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Hey, this is the third hour of the Kim Komando Show. So glad that you're here with us. Sit back and enjoy. Here's something that I bet you never thought of when you see all these people climbing Mount Everest. How do they get all the poop off the mountain, right? How do you do that? Well, I happened to read a little article about this past week. Let's see, about 600 climbers make the attempt every year, and each person leaves behind almost 20 pounds of waste. Trash, human waste, because there aren't any bathrooms up there. So how are they cleaning up Mount Everest? Well, they're using some technology. Are you ready for it? Drones. That's right. $20,000 DJI Flycart drones. They can carry up to 660 pounds of garbage in one trip, where they say moving it in minutes, the drone does. It would take Sherpas hours and hours to haul it down by hand. So yes, drones to the rescue. But speaking of Mount Everest, yes, that means that there's a bad joke coming if you're new to the show. What do you call Snoop Dogg on Mount Everest? What do you call Snoop Dogg on Mount Everest? You ready? The highest place on Earth. Oh. Okay, it wasn't that bad, Sandra. It was not. She's the keeper of all the sound effects, by the way. All right, get set, everyone. We're diving into everything tech right now, and I'm going to share with you everything you need to know to make sure that you're always tech ahead and never left tech behind, because that's my job as America's digital goddess. Of course, my name's Kim Komando. You just tapped into the biggest show, the most trusted show, and you can hear my award-winning show every single week on over 420 top stations across the United States. We're streaming anytime in your favorite radio app. Just search for Komando with a K, of course. But if you're more of a podcast person, well, I've got you covered there. Just search my last name wherever you get your podcasts. And now you can actually watch the show on YouTube. Head to youtube.com/Kim Komando. Catch the full episodes, clips, behind the scenes, fun, and extras. And a big salute goes out to everyone listening on American Forces Network Radio, reaching more than 375,000 U.S. service members in 175 countries aboard 200 ships at sea. Thank you for everything that you're doing right now to protect our country. Alrighty then, you know me, every single day I scour at least 35, 40 different places to make sure I know exactly what's happening in the tech world. And here are 5 things you need to know about right now. And let me tell you, it's tough looking for a job unless you really have skills in artificial intelligence right now. Just ask the thousands and thousands of folks who graduated this past June. And there's a group, though, that's being snatched up for high-paying jobs just as soon as they apply. So if you haven't chosen your major yet, or if you're thinking about changing careers, you need to listen up. 20-somethings are getting hired at salaries approaching, are you ready for this? $1 million a year if they have a doctorate focused on AI from a major research university. It's simply unheard of. Employees with proven AI experience are promoted to management twice as fast as their counterparts. Now, they're a generative AI research scientist, that's what they're calling it, with only 2 years experience can make $250,000 a year. Wow. So if you're not looking at AI, you're going to be toast. All right, moving on to number 2. I don't know how I feel about this. So listen up. When someone you love dies, it's really very, very difficult, isn't it? I mean, you know, death is universal, but as they say, grief is so personal. Or as the Bible says, you have to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Okay? You can't walk around it. You got to walk through it. Now, By the year 2030, which sounds far away, and it's not, a big-time University of Cambridge professor, Katarzansi Bensinski, says that you could carry your loved one who has passed away in your pocket all the time, anytime, whenever you want to speak to that person, get a laugh, whatever it may be, is that you can just open up your device and they would be right there. They say that why would you visit a grave when you can fire up an app and a video chat with a digital person that you buried? Why would you go to a cemetery? They're going to be obsolete. AI clones of the dead will be cheap, easy, and everywhere. This is what this professor says. And with all the footage and recordings we leave behind, building a new version of someone is not going to be very difficult. What do you think about that? How would you feel? I mean, there's a side of me that says like, wow, I would love to have my mom and dad with me all the time. But then there's the other side that said, is it really them? Am I just going to be prolonging my grief? Is that going to be bad for my psyche if that's really possible? Anyway, if you have some thoughts about that, I'd love to hear them. Moving on, let's talk about MrBeast. Yes, he's the world's biggest YouTuber. He's going from giving away cars and cash to, are you ready for it? He's going to make so much money selling cell phone plans. That's right. According to a leaked investor deck, Jimmy Donaldson, that's MrBeast's real name, is planning on his own mobile service. He's not going to be putting up towers. He's going to partner with, say, a T-Mobile or Verizon and put his brand on it. Kind of the same thing that Ryan Reynolds did with Mint Mobile. So here's how it works. There are two types of phone companies, the MNOs, mobile network operators. They have names like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. Then there are the MVNOs, the mobile virtual network operators who resell packages from the big guys. With over 400 million subscribers. Wow. He just needs a little tiny bit to make some money. Wow. God, isn't America great? Moving in at number 4, golf is back. I know. It was like, what happened to golf? During the pandemic, channels like Good Golf exploded. 75% of their revenue comes from merchandise, not swings. I took a look at their potential money making. It's about $5,000 a day. That's based on views alone, and that doesn't include the merch. Influencer Paige Spiranek, 4 million Instagram followers. She's now the hot gal that wears short skirts and has a great swing. Bryson DeChambeau used YouTube to fix his image, 2.5 million subs. He's the golfer that left the PGA Tour to go to the Saudi-backed LIV Golf League. Wow. So who's really watching all this? They say golf on YouTube is huge. The audience is 98% male, and that's 25 to 54. And why is it so popular? Because all the hot girls are playing golf right now. Oh, I don't know if you've ever wondered this, but why do golf announcers whisper? Why do they whisper? Like, over on the tee, we have so-and-so. And what club are they using? Why do they whisper? Because they don't want to wake up the people who are watching. Yes. Shh. All right, coming in at number 5, I want to play a song for you that has gotten over 3 million downloads. People love this song. And I'll tell you right now, before I even play it, I'm not a fan. I just don't like it. I don't think it's original. I think it's boring. But here, take a listen.
Oh, my love, my friend, you know, it's been a while.
Okay, it's okay. I mean, maybe if it was like on a chill channel or something like that. It was made by Oliver McCann. Okay. Oliver can't play any music. Oliver can't sing. Oliver doesn't know how to play any music, like I said, or read music. He can't play the piano. He's got nothing. But he makes music with artificial intelligence. And the reason why I bring this up is he just signed to a record label after that song racked up 3 million streams. And this is the first time a music label signed a contract with an AI music creator that we know of. Isn't that something? You know, many people told Beethoven that he would never be a musician because he was deaf, but did he listen? Did he listen? No. Oh, ouch. I know. That one was bad. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about how AI can be your new rock star assistant. What you need to know about BNPL. You know what that is? Buy now, pay later. And then later, oh my gosh, Meta never stops. The spying, we're going to tell you some settings that you need to turn off. And of course, we have just the best callers ever. And you have me, Kim Commando. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise: home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. Okay, it is the absolute last chance for you to enter to win that brand new iPhone. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. You might be wondering, like, well, okay, what's going to happen if I do enter? Am I going to get spammed? No. But you will get a few issues of my free newsletter, and you can unsubscribe at any time. That's winfromkim.com. winfromkim.com. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, AI is your rock star. I'm going to tell you how you can make that magic happen. And before we get to that, how about we start with all of your great calls, and let's see, who's first? Okay, Peter in Santa Barbara, California. Hi there, Peter.
Hello, Kim. How are you?
Good. I read the most amazing story. Oh my gosh, tell us.
Yeah, it was a normal Friday, or so I thought, just a few weeks ago here in Santa Barbara, and I was heading to pick up my daughter from Santa Barbara Airport. Felt a little lightheaded and dizzy that morning as I was moving around the house, but being a typical male, thought nothing of it, and that actually I'll go to Starbucks and that'll fix it. And was waiting in my car for my daughter's plane to arrive, and my Apple Watch started pinging me incessantly saying low heart rate, low heart rate. So I looked at it. I went to my phone where you can get a little bit more data in the health app, and clearly my heart rate had dropped to the low 30s over the last 20 minutes. And so I took a photograph of those notifications and sent them to my wife, who interestingly used to work for Fitbit and understood health data on a wearable smartwatch, and said, yeah, it was very clear that something wasn't right, and being a man, I thought a coffee would fix it, and that clearly wasn't the case. She drove immediately to the airport. She was nearby and drove me to Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital emergency room. I was admitted. The triage nurse took my pulse, took one look at me, said, don't move, and 3 minutes later, I'm in the examination room, and a crash team descends upon me, ready with a defibrillator, EKG sensors, IV, blood pressure machines. And within 2-3 minutes, the emergency room doctor ran in, waving a piece of paper and saying, you're in complete heart block. This isn't good. We're going to have to put a pacemaker in. So I'd gone, Kim, from like literally 9 minutes early having a coffee thinking that would cure my dizziness to understanding that I needed a pacemaker. And 3 hours later, I was the proud owner of Abbott Labs pacemaker, pumping away and keeping my heart going.
Wow. Now, had you had any symptoms before this day?
No, I had many, many years ago. I was very fortunate. I worked for EA, the video game company, and I was the chief operating officer, and very fortunate to be part of an executive health program that monitored each year your health as kind of one of my benefits, if you will. And being involved in technology, they love the idea of you getting data on your health. And there was some blips in the EKG that the cardiologist at that time told me to be aware of. But the previous day, I was in the gym. I was on the treadmill. I was doing what I do 5 times a week, lifting, Peloton, everything, Kim, and no symptoms whatsoever other than a little bit of lightheadedness. And then when my world changed, and bluntly, I think if I hadn't listened to my Apple Watch and, of course, my wife, I'm not sure where I'd be right now.
Wow, that is really That is really an amazing story. And so what would you say to somebody, Peter, who's listening or watching right now and they think, you know what, all this Apple Watch stuff, it's just BS. I mean, it's just a couple of people that maybe it's saved. I don't need that.
It's interesting. My wife said at Fitbit they talked about making the invisible visible through your Fitbit device, and that's exactly what was going on here. I simply thought I was a little lightheaded, dizzy, whatever, and that a coffee would cure it. The cardiologist who then treated me said if I'd have continued and not come into the hospital, I probably would have collapsed. And my fear came as I would have been driving my daughter home and collapse at the wheel. And the implications of that don't even, bear thinking about. But I think that we have all of this stuff. My Apple Watch is important to me. It's more, I read my messages and my emails, and I can control my front door with it, and all of the things that, are amazing to me as kind of George Jetson, Maxwell Smart type technology all on the watch. But the concept, and I use it to track my workouts and what have you. But this very much, I think, saved my life. Just for whatever reason, I wasn't listening to myself, but for whatever reason, and being a kind of Silicon Valley guy, having worked for Microsoft and EA and Sega, that I did pay attention to the data that was literally consistently pinging me, basically saying, "Get to the hospital right now."
Wow, such an amazing story, Peter. And, when you think of all the technology, because, obviously you've been around it for a long time as I have, is that, we've seen it from the big old brick phones, right? To now we have, basically a computer in our pocket. And the concept of being able to put something on your wrist for just a couple of $100 to tell you what's going on with like the most important organ you have, your heart, right? I mean, that's pretty amazing stuff.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. It literally, I think, saved my life. And even worse, it could have saved my daughter's life if she'd have been sat in the passenger seat and I collapsed at the wheel driving down the freeway. Yeah. Exactly.
And then, and family always comes first. They always do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Peter, thank you so much for telling us your inspiring story. And for everybody who's listening right now and you're thinking like, you know what, I don't need an Apple Watch. Why would I want one of those? And how did that woman, she called me a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you heard her. And she didn't want to get an Apple Watch because she thought the band was ugly. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think she had heart issues to boot. It's like, lady, go get an Apple Watch. Stop already. Gosh, I just love taking all your calls. All right, let's see. Still to come, what you need to know about meta spying. Yeah, it's a big one here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, before we get back to all your calls, you ever wish that your phone could save you from a bad situation that you could just walk away from? Well, it actually can. This is amazing. You can make your phone ring on command. You don't need to text a friend, hey, can you call me at 5:30 so I can get out of this bad date? With apps like Fake Call Plus and Fake Call Me, you can schedule a call in 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, how long that you need. Then you can just smile and nod and say, sorry, I've got to take this. You can also do the same thing with Siri or Google Assistant. Just set up a shortcut like call me in a minute. I mean, this is really amazing things, especially because you might have that one neighbor, not saying who that may be, but you might have a neighbor who's like always wants to meet you on the corner and chit chat about everything. And you're like, I gotta go. My phone's ringing. Yes. All right. On the current podcast, it's a separate podcast from the Kim Komando Show. We do some great interviews. Here, take a listen to some of what we talked about. All right, so what do you think? Are we alone in the universe? It's a question that has haunted humanity, it seems like forever. And Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, he's never been shy about his answer. As a matter of fact, Dr. Loeb is one of the most influential voices in space science, known for challenging the status quo. Back in 2017, he stunned the world by suggesting that Oumuamua, that bizarre cigar-shaped object that just zipped through our solar system, might not have been a rock at all, but actually alien technology. So now Dr. Loeb is back in the spotlight with 3i Atlas, just the third interstellar object ever discovered. It was first spotted back in April 2024, and it swung past the sun in December, then brushed by Earth a couple of weeks later before heading back into deep space. Now, let me tell you, most astronomers say it was simply a comet, but Dr. Loeb points to its laser precision trajectory gliding past Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. as if it was on this programmed route. And he argues that the odds of that happening by chance are almost zero. So, what do you think? Just another chunk of cosmic ice and dust, or is it something far more intentional? Dr. Loeb, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the biggest one. I mean, do you truly believe that we're not alone in the universe? And Doctor, what convinced you of this the most?
Well, it's the number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy, 100 billion of them, and there are billions of Earth-Sun analogs similar to our home. And when you see so many houses on your street, it would be really arrogant of us to assume that they have no residents like us.
Well, so let's move forward now. Let's talk about 3I Atlas. Now, this is fascinating because you said that its path was like too perfect to be random. And it's not just a regular drive by the neighborhood. What's going on with that?
Well, yeah, as soon as it was discovered on July 1st, 2025, I realized that it's very bright for its distance. It must be as big as 20 kilometers, or even more recently, Sphere-X Space Observatory that NASA launched earlier this year looked at it, and the research team concluded from the data that it may be even 46 kilometers in diameter. That's huge. That's twice as large as Manhattan Island. And the problem with that is the mass of this object would be 1 million times bigger than the previous interstellar object, either Oumuamua or after that Borisov, which was a comet. And you just don't expect a giant rock of this size to arrive before many small ones would be spotted. There should have been of order 1 million objects like Borisov or Oumuamua discovered before we see something as big as this one. And moreover, there is not enough rocky material in interstellar space to account for the delivery of such a giant rock once per decade, the duration of the survey. You expect once per 10,000 years or more, or longer. And, I then concluded that maybe it is not just a rock on a random trajectory, but in fact, it was targeting the inner solar system. And that would mean that, it was sent by some intelligence, and it's not on a random trajectory. It's going straight into the region where they might have some interest. Then I looked at the trajectory. Turns out that the object is in the same plane as the planets around the sun. And the chance of that actually happening at random is 1 in 500. So why would the third interstellar object lie exactly in the plane of the planet to within 5 degrees? That to me is a mystery. Why would it appear to us so bright that it has to have a mass that is 1 million times bigger than the previous objects that we found? It's possible that it's actually technological. It's possible that it's producing some of the light that we see from it. And then, of course, the rest of the academic community argued that, it's a comet, maybe by chance it happened to be. Okay. Yeah, it's a comet. But the problem is that we don't see a cometary tail. Okay, we don't see, usually what happens from a comet, there is gas and dust evaporating from the surface of an icy rock, and that dust is being pushed backwards by the solar radiation. And the problem is we don't see such a plume of dust trailing the object as it approaches the sun. There is no cometary tail.
We always see aliens and ETs portrayed in Hollywood as little green men, or they have the fingers with the red lights. Is there a Hollywood movie that gets it right, in your opinion?
I think this is like a blind date of interstellar proportions. And as you know from I don't know if you went on blind dates, but very often you see the other side in a very different light after the meeting. And that's in case both of you have the same DNA, a human, you both belong to the human species. But just imagine meeting someone from another star. all bets are off. And I think, nature is far more imaginative than the scripts that Hollywood producers and directors made, and I would just approach it with a sense of humility and basically observe.
Now, if aliens are listening right now, what is the first message that we should send them?
Well, my guess is if they arrive at our backyard before we arrive at their backyard, they're probably more advanced technologically than we are. They had more time developing their science and technology. So I would approach them with a sense of humility and say, we seek peace. We want to learn from you.
All right, so what do you think? Just another frozen chunk of dust or something designed with a purpose? Either way, it's a reminder to keep asking the big questions. Are we really alone? Now, you want to hear the full conversation because I couldn't play it here on the show. So wherever you get your podcasts, search for my last name, Commando, and then what you want to do is subscribe to the current podcast. Once again, that's the current podcast. All right, what if you could have an assistant that worked 24/7, never took a lunch break, and was free? Or maybe you had to spend $20 a month. Let's talk about what AI can really do at work beyond just email help and meeting notes. I mean, if you have a contract filled with all that legal mumbo jumbo, AI can totally break it down in plain English. You can also say, hey, what's wrong with this contract? What are the gotchas? What if you need a presentation or a deck? Feed AI all your bullet points and ask for 10 slides complete with speaker notes and summaries. It can also write LinkedIn posts based on your resume. It can prep talking points for a meeting. And what I love this, it can also role play as a tough investor before your next pitch. You can give it a spreadsheet of survey results and say, summarize the key trends, give me 3 takeaways. And how about one more? Record a Zoom call, upload the transcript, and ask AI to write follow-up emails for every single person in the meeting telling them what they need to do. Yes, total rockstar move. Hey, if you use DoorDash, you can finance your Big Mac. That's right. Buy now, pay later. It's all over. 94 million people used it last year. They have names like Affirm and Klarna. The market's expected to hit billions and billions of dollars. I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. But what you might not realize is that some of these charge up to 36% interest. If you miss a payment, the late fees go as high as 25%. And Apple reports buy now, pay later activity to credit bureaus. So if you miss a payment, your credit takes a hit. Now, I've been talking to my sister about using Klarna and Affirm. And if you're a business where you're taking cash up front from your customers, and some customers are saying that to you that, well, I can't afford $10,000, I can't afford $15,000. That's where you as a business can sign up for Klarna and Affirm and offer your customers 4 easy payments. You get your money up front, and if they don't pay Klarna or Affirm, it's their problem, not yours. All right, still to come, we have some great tips like Meta spying on your camera roll. What's going on with that? And more of your phone calls you just can't afford to miss here on the Kim Commando Show. All right, back to your calls we go. Let's see who's up next. Tiffany in Chicago, Illinois. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Kim. I'm a longtime listener, and I love your program. And I actually also love your daily newsletter.
Fabulous, fabulous. What's on your mind today?
Well, I'm Catholic, and in our local parish, we often get missionary priests. Often they come from countries in Africa, like Nigeria, the Congo, Uganda. And I was wondering, just had this brainstorm, would you have an idea for a language learning program that maybe the parish could provide that could help some of the priests that struggle with English?
Of course. Yeah, there's all kinds of programs out there. I'll tell you the big one that is just exploding because everybody loves it is Duolingo.
Okay.
And this Duolingo. The reason why, and especially I bet you these guys would like it, is because they're younger, is that it's almost like learning a language and playing a game at the same time. So you get points, you can unlock different levels, there are challenges. And then also there's the streak feature. Do you know what that is, the streak feature?
A little bit, yes.
It's like when you sign on to do something, it says, oh, this is your 8th day. This is your 9th day. So you don't want to give up. So it's free with ads, or if you don't want the ads, it's like $6-7 a month. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you're looking for something that is going to be more structured, like, we're going to go through vocabulary, and of course, Duolingo is going to do that. But if you want to say, like, this is going to be more like a course, a class, okay, that's when you're looking at things like Babbel or Rosetta Stone. And so it's, that's going to cost you anywhere between, like, say, $10 and $15 a month. So Duolingo, like I said, everybody loves it. It has this owl mascot. It gives you reminders. It encourages you to get to the next level. It tells you stories. You can listen to podcasts in your target languages. And so that's why I would try that one first, and then I'd go
try
to
that one first.
and then I'd probably go to Babbel, and then I'd go to Rosetta. But I think Duolingo, Babbel, and then Rosetta. Did I ever tell you my story about going to confession?
No, tell it.
Okay. So I went to Catholic school, Our Lady of Hungary. I'm still a practicing Catholic today, by the way. I was in second grade, and I was at Our Lady of Hungary, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh gosh, I have to go to confession. And we went every week. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know. I don't think I did anything this past week. And I'm like, but I got to come up with something. I can't go in there and say, like, oh, forgive me, Father, for I have not sinned. I did something. So I see a Bible. The Bible's sitting right there in the pew. I'm thinking, all right, maybe I don't know all the 10 commandments. So I look at the 10 commandments and I think, got it. I know what I'm going to say. So I go into the confessional and I kneel down. I said, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. My last confession was a week ago. And then he does that whole Latin thing. And he said, what did you do, dear one? And I said, I committed adultery. Okay. And the screen goes like, and I see his face. And I'm like, oh, and he said, you what? I said, I committed adultery. And he's like, no, you lied. Okay. Go say 10 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers. And then when you go home, ask your mother what adultery is.
I like that story.
Yes.
I always think about you, and I always think that Lucy should be your saint. And I always ask that Saint Lucy will pray with you and for you and to assist with your vision.
Oh, thank you for that. That's how I knew who St. Lucy was. That's, what? Thank you. That means a lot. And I appreciate your prayers. I do. You know what, Tiffany? Thank you for your call. If you need any help afterwards, just come on back. All right, still to come, Meta's doing something that you're not going to like at all. You are opted in, I bet, by default. I'll tell you all about it here on The Kim Komando Show. All right, what do you have on your camera roll? Just think about it. Screenshots, memes, dogs, cats, whatever may be on there. Surprise, Facebook has given itself a look into your camera roll. This is unbelievable. They do this. Hidden within the settings are 2 new custom sharing toggles. Mine was actually set on. The message said, we'll occasionally use your camera roll for suggestions. What? Yes, we're snooping on you. Yes. I hit off. You should too. If you need the exact steps, just hit the website at komando.com. And just a quick reminder, last chance to enter to win that brand new iPhone. Winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. That's the end of hour 3. But don't worry, if you want more good stuff, make sure that you sign up for my free newsletter. Head over to getkim.com.